We are going to continue down this Idaho 4 topic, which, like we just said a minute ago, Idaho 4 topic is the Moscow, Idaho massacre, where 4 students unfortunately lost their lives in one of the worst, most violent crimes ever, with Madison Mogen, Kaylee Consalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, and they were assaulted with a large fixed blade weapon by what most people believe to be Bryan Kohberger. And this is, if I could put the cases that we cover, like, number 1 that we talk about the most. We've made a commitment to our viewers that we are going to talk about the Idaho 4 case the most. The reason being is because we cater to our viewers, our thought rioters out there, you guys that are watching it. And, we work for you. So what you want to see is what we're going to give. And we're just going to give it in our thought riot-y fashion, So this is the main case that we're digging into. I mean, when we dig into a case, we dig into everything. We're going to pull it apart piece by piece, all the way down to its cells, and potentially rebuild it after we have a thorough and complete understanding of each piece of evidence, one at a time, separate and objectively from any other details around people, things like that, feelings, So one of the questions that I asked recently on our Thought Riot YouTube polls, okay, and it got a ton of votes, you guys, a lot of votes, and it sparked this, and it's a continuation of exactly what we're talking about here, where you were just talking about, with that gap in time, the front door left open, not being able to, at least via PCA, prove where he parked. So is it possible to even have him parked, get out of the car, whatnot, But what I asked in the poll is, boom, you will see it on the screen now, but it says Idaho 4 random case study. If you could get 100% clarity, 100% clarity on one piece of Idaho 4 related situational evidence, using a magic lamp, of course, haha, what piece would you want to know, okay? Number 1 that we had here, all the details surrounding the IGG SNP top to bottom. That is all notes, that is all everything. How they made the decisions, who made the decisions, who did the tests, who did everything, okay? We have 3% of the votes, all right? 3% of the votes. Then we have all the details surrounding Rosendahl. In this case, I meant Tolson, but I said Rosendahl, and that's okay, because Rosendahl has a deep connection to the community, and multiple people corrected me in the comments, which I appreciate. You guys are looking out. But we have 0%. Number 3, all the details gathered during the autopsy, video, audio, everything. We have 10%. And then we have what went on in the house from time of death to 911 calls. So we're talking anywhere between 3 a.m. to midday, right? Noon. Who was in there? What were they doing? And how were they doing it? And we have a staggering 80%. And so many people left comments saying, I am blown away that I voted for what went on during that missing 8-hour time frame. And then to see so many people want that. And I feel like we have a good mix of people in Thought Riot as well. We have a lot of people in here that believe he's guilty. We have a lot of people that believe he's innocent. We have a lot of people that don't know. We have a lot of people that are in the middle, and to see that that's one thing that literally everyone wants to know.
Everybody wants to know that.
It's insane. Insane. And just to be clear, we have the fifth one here, which is other, and then please include below, and that's 6%. But a lot more than 6% of you left comments, and that's what we're going to be going into today, and it's just going to be an open conversation. So I wanted to go through these, and the reason why I wanted to go through these is while we're the presenters of Thought Riot Podcast, all of you that are watching our Thought Riot Podcast, every single one of you, and most of you, if not all of you, know way more information about this case and things in general than I do. And I've learned so much from all of you watching, and I take all of your comments to heart, and please keep them coming. I read every single one of them. I'm sure it'll get to a point one day where I won't be able to reply to all of them, but there would have to be a lot of comments for me not to read all of them.
It's literally what he does all day, nonstop. Like, he doesn't have a life anymore. It's pretty sad, actually.
Yeah. But I read all of them because there is such important stuff in them. And because there is so much good information and intelligent questions and details and comments. And it's just, they're incredible. So keep them coming, and I appreciate you. And that's part of the reason that I am reading these out. Now, I'm not going to go into a shout out for every single person just because we have a lot of questions here. But you guys know who you are. So let's get into it. Number one, I heard they questioned a lot of people. I would love to see all the videos law enforcement has of questioning and clearing possible suspects and persons of interest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
a really good one. I was thinking when you did that poll, as you're reading the answers, I was like, man, that kind of suck. I could have done way better than that. Because there's things
they're good.
There's things I want to know way more than like the IGG or Rosendahl, Tolson. I mean, Tolson, that's an important part. That's a big part.
Just as important as the IGG, in my opinion. The IGG proves criminal activity on law enforcement's part.
Yeah, I know. They're all important.
I think it is.
Everything you picked is important. I think that there's everybody can sit here and complain, okay, that they don't like that this case has been made, like, that the media makes it salacious, but they're still waiting for every salacious bit, and I feel like those are the things that people want to know, is the salacious parts, which is like what the roommates, it's what happened, because it's the part that's the most dramatic and weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we're going through these, to hear what the community, wants to hear. And I figured we could just talk on that specifically, are these things. So.
Number one is great, though. I love that one, because I would love to see that, too.
I agree, and I think that's another very big piece to this case, is if you think Bryan Kohberger is innocent, or you're not sure if he's innocent, being able to see, like, the body language, the comments, the details around some of the other people that were close to these kids and in this area and close to that Greek life, I think does a lot, including the fraternity.
Yeah.
So, 2, testimony of the eyewitnesses. So, Dylan, Bethany, and the DoorDash driver. So that's really interesting too, seeing the actual video testimony of the DoorDash driver. Now, if I had to guess, I would say the person that wrote that has some major doubt in the law enforcement there.
Yeah. Because
we've heard what supposedly the DoorDash driver said, what Bethany said, what Dylan Mortensen said, but I'm right there with them that I want to see it.
Do you think it's odd that the name of the driver that took Kaylee and Maddie home was released, but not the identity of the DoorDash driver? Why is the DoorDash driver more protected?
I think the DoorDash driver saw a car.
Dude, the DoorDash driver their identity is more protected, I think, than any other person in this case. There's no other person in this case, I don't think, whose identity is being as protected as the DoorDash
Unless
drivers.
we don't know.
Unless we do not know of
Yeah.
them and have any idea that they exist.
Yeah, because everything's gagged. So I don't know. Of the known people, eyewitnesses that are tied to this case, yeah, the DoorDash driver's right there. But yeah, I don't know. That's such a good one to ask a genie for.
Yeah.
So number 3, I think this one's good too. I'd also like to hear from Ethan's brother about the fight at Sigma Chi that night. Was he there? Did one of the people that supposedly fought with Ethan and Xana say anything to him after? So that whole family is in the Greek community. So was Ethan's brother Hunter there? Was either Hunter there? And how did that fight go down? Are we even going to hear about that? Because in my opinion, that's really important to this case.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to hear about it in court. Unless Ann Taylor brings it up. The only reason it would ever be brought up in court is because of Ann Taylor.
Yeah. I agree.
Saying, look at their incompetence, the judge. They didn't even, or jury, they didn't even go follow up when, 2 of the victims, you're claiming that the girls are the target. They got into an altercation with somebody earlier that night. Yep. And you didn't follow up on this.
Yeah. Look at the statistics of what happens in homicides after there's been an altercation. I bet the statistic is pretty high.
Yeah, that's like a heck of a coincidence.
That when a homicide happens, 50% of the time, I'm making this stat up, but I wouldn't be surprised to see 50% of the time there was some kind of altercation, verbal, physical, or other, before this happening. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So this is a good one here, but they just said it's a toss-up. I need to know about all of the events from 9 p.m. on the 12th to the 911 call. So that goes right into, one of those answers. But just, yes, knowing from 9 p.m. to see if there was anything weird, who was at the house while they were still gone, who showed up at the house, who left the house before any of the roommates were back home. You know what I mean?
You should have added, I want to see, one of the options should have been all camera footage. All of the footage.
Yeah, but that's too vague. That's too obvious.
What?
Just all camera footage from the crime?
All the 51 terabytes.
Yeah, that's too obvious. That's everything. You need to be specific.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
The 51 terabytes is probably a whole lot of nothing, too.
I get it, but you're supposed to ask for one thing. Asking for 52 terabytes of all the evidence that is in this case, that's like somebody cheating an answer. That's like asking for more wishes.
Okay.
You're just asking for all the evidence. That's obvious.
Okay.
So
I like to cheat, I guess.
I want to know why he did it. And this is interesting. I was surprised to see a lot of subjective answers. I say I'm surprised, but I guess I'm not really surprised because a lot of people out there, for one reason or another, relate to Bryan Kohberger in certain ways where, maybe they look at him being bullied by mainstream media and they've been in a situation where they felt emotionally similar. I don't know, but so I want to know why he did it and whether this tragedy can be prevented from happening in the future. That's a good one, the prevention.
Yeah, the why is important to me also. I want to know why this happened.
Yeah, maybe.
It's important to me.
I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I think anything that's important to anybody is important. Just for me, it's not important, but it doesn't mean that there's only one right answer.
I think the why goes into the psychology, and it does go into the prevention. If you know why, you're more able to, do things that would help prevent it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you just, it's, like, why does my child act this way? Oh, because they have ADHD. Well, now I can treat the ADHD and prevent that behavior in the future.
Yeah. This person said that if they knew all the people that were in the house from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m., they think they could figure out the crime. And I think that's very possible. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. This one. So I want to know the ambiance and atmosphere and relationship between when Maddie and Xana moved in from day one. And I think what they're getting at here, which that's interesting, was there any conflict between any of them? Was there a baseline of how that house functioned and what they did there, and was that changed along the way?
Do you know what I find odd, and I guess this is a good time to bring it up? And if you guys have found this out there, please let me know. I have never, not once, been able to find a picture of Xana and Kaylee together. Not one, except for when they're in a group photo. Everybody else has taken pictures on their own, like Dylan and Kaylee, Maddie and Xana. Like, I've seen pictures of all of them, like, in twos, all different. But I have never been able to find a picture of Kaylee and Xana together.
That's interesting.
Just by themselves.
I
like, they
wonder-
hang out. Like, not at all.
So maybe they're onto something here. Maybe there was some kind of, whatever. I don't know.
Maybe. There's been a lot of people talk about that between other roommates. And I don't know. I feel like we don't have enough there to know for sure yet.
So that's a good ask.
Yeah.
That's a really good ask to understand the background a little bit.
The dynamics, yeah.
Understanding the background a lot of times can help you, like, foreshadow things. So, if you're trying to figure out who could have done this crime, looking at past relationships could help with that,
For sure.
I want to know the context and details surrounding each victim. Yeah, that's a big given. Just knowing all the details, that would be their genie wish, knowing all the details around each person. So I think they're talking about, like,
Physical details?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So where they were found, like bodies, who was, like, the wounds, things like that. You know what I mean? Like, all those details, including the blood tests, like, all that. So why Maddie's boyfriend happened to be gone that weekend, as if he had prior knowledge this would happen. That's been a big one.
Wait. Does Maddie's boyfriend go to U of I?
I think so. I haven't covered Maddie's boyfriend. We haven't talked about any boyfriends yet. So I don't have a lot of background knowledge into any of the details into any of them. But I don't know. I know that there's a ton of questions because a lot of times in a crime like this, it happens to be the boyfriend, husband, lover, whatever.
There's multiple circumstances with this crime that immediately make you think inner circle. The no forced entry. And they all have boyfriends, and you have somebody who's moving away and moving on with their life, for one, and leaving behind a lover. So there's many circumstances that make a lot of people think inner circle.
Yes, there is. That's a good one. We still need to dig into that. Now,
I didn't realize he was gone that weekend, though. I didn't realize that. I guess I missed that.
I want to bring this one up because we've said this before. And this is so important to see if it was one person or two. They said, I want to know what is in the autopsy. If in there if in there is blood transfer from victim 1 to 2, okay, then you know, like this was 1, this was 2. And then transfer from 1 and 2 to victim 3 and 4, then you understand it's one person or one weapon, right?
The DNA transfer between bodies from the knife.
Correct. Yeah.
Even if the killer just wiped the knife,
it would still be there.
There would still be trace DNA.
Yep, there would be. There would be. And I know we've talked about this before, and the defense better ask about this.
Yeah, that helps you determine the order of who was killed first, which could help you determine a target, an intended target. It could also, I mean, because like if Ethan and Xana were first, like that changes things. If Maddie and Kaylee were first, that might change things.
Yeah, I agree with you. That could also give you an indication on where they came in at the house. They could do all kinds of stuff.
And if there was more than one killer, because if there's no DNA transfer,
right? Yep.
Then what?
Yeah.
Or only transfer between the 2 in the room.
1 and 2, and then 3 to 4. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh man, this one gets me. So, I want to know if the leaked ring cam audio that we all heard is authentic. I want to know that too.
Oh.
On True Crime Design, the audio that came out and had been, that
lady claimed she used
up.
it. That from a different crime, though. She said she faked it.
What lady?
There's a lady on TikTok who claimed she faked it to prove a point and that it's from another crime.
Okay, but again, that's just a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
So we don't know. We have no idea. We know that audio came from there. So did she just take that and then put it, like, what? You know what I mean? What's the point?
Yeah, I don't know.
We know audio came from there. And there is a thud. There is a dark dog bark. There is a, yelp or whatever, some kind of human sound on there.
In the PCA, it says whimper. And there was
whimper.
A lot more than a whimper in that. There was screaming and talking.
Yeah, when it's cleaned up and all the white noise taken away. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. You never know who is authentic online. Never. Okay. I mean, there could be people that's in our, circle of thought rioters that have a specific reason for being there. You never know.
Or what if
they have a separate goal to push a narrative it happens all the time.
I know this is tin hat.
Marketing
but
101.
What if it was leaked and there is a part of this crime that's being hidden and that exposes part of it, so they paid somebody to say, I faked it.
Yep. There's a lot of reasons.
It's pretty tin hat.
Because there's a name in there. It's not that tin hat. That's what you would do. That's just normal practice. It happens all the time in business. It happens all the time. I don't know who they are, but, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. So it's not as far-fetched as you would think it would be. I've seen it in my own life personally. Things like that get handled. We've seen companies do it. It happens all the time. So, what happened during the fight with Ethan and Xana? Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned one like that earlier, and I agree. That's a big deal for me too. I would like to know that. Huge
deal. What was said? What words specifically? And there are eyewitnesses there. It's just whether they actually said something or not.
Right.
All the info on Bryan Kohberger at his job and interview with police, along with the details about the professor he worked under that wrote the books specifically about a crime like this.
That would be super interesting too.
I agree. I agree.
would love to see the interview footage of him with the FBI. Like, I would
Yep.
really like to see that.
Me too. I'm telling you, that's why I wanted to do this, because a lot of these questions are a big deal. It also gives people an insight into the psychology of the community and what they find interesting in this case, what they feel like they need to know in order to solve this or consider it solved personally. And that's very important.
Well,
very important, because this is our justice system, the people's. So you need your people to believe in it. And there's intelligence here. It's not like we have a whole bunch of tin hat madness. No, there's real questions. And I've already seen multiple legal experts talk about this PCA and how poorly it's written. Like, there's no questions there. It doesn't matter if you think he's guilty or innocent. There's gaps, there's holes, there's problems.
Yeah, and you know, in the Danny Rowland case, the guy who was accused that everyone thought did it, he had a scarred up face, and the way he looked and his background really made people think for sure he was the guy, to the point of when there was exculpatory evidence, they thought, yeah, they explained it away. Well, it's still him. It's still him. He was
So
a part
sad.
of it. There's probably just a co-defendant. And it reminds me of this case a little bit, just because Bryan Kohberger's almost like this silent boogeyman who nobody ever hears really speak. We've never seen videos of him like behaving like a normal human being, not in court. He's like this weird silent boogeyman that, you know, the media photoshops his eyes to make him look bug-eyed and dead, and it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it is strange, but, you know, this is a criminology student who knows it's better to be silent.
It absolutely is.
Because anything you say is going to be manipulated.
I understand why people ask, well, wouldn't you be screaming to the rooftops, I'm innocent? Well, no, I wouldn't. I would be
circumstantial.
I would be listening to my lawyer. Especially if I had a good lawyer that I felt like was fighting for me and was helping me, and if they told me, keep your freaking mouth shut, do not say a word, don't even say you're innocent, say nothing, then I'd be like, okay, yes.
You got it.
Yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I will be quiet.
You got it.
Yep.
All right, I want to know where Dylan was the afternoon before the crime. Interesting.
I would like to know that too, because that's not mentioned anywhere at all. One thing I also wanted to mention, oh gosh, I lost it. Hopefully it'll come back to me. It literally left my brain that quick.
Look, I understand. Police body cams on entering the house when the bodies were discovered. I agree. I think that has a lot to tie into it. It'll show the front door. It'll show the back door. It'll show any evidence that's laying out in the house.
If there's a trail anywhere.
If there's a trail. If that sheath can literally be seen from outside the door, halfway under her body, halfway not. I mean,
just when it was found, because I don't think, after rereading the PCA so many times, I don't think Payne is saying he found it when he was standing at the door looking, because he actually says in the PCA he later found it. I swear he does.
I'm not going to go into it now. We'll look it up, but I don't believe that. I believe that it's supposed to mean that he found it from the door. So
it's
because all he's doing is discrediting all of them. So what? None of you saw it? Like, oh, I forgot. This is a weapon shape.
Yeah.
I don't believe. I think that it was meant to be from the door.
Okay.
So all electronic data, correspondence between victims, students and family, 6 months prior till present day, financial data also on fraternities as well, and social media.
That's a lot of data, man.
If Bryan Kohberger isn't the guy, I think that could solve a case. People don't realize how much information is in data. It's important.
I mean, I would just want yes, I want that, but I want it after it's been analyzed by a non-biased expert.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to sort through all that data myself.
Yeah. I mean, I would. I
would.
Depends,
I don't want to.
Yeah. What is the evidence or DNA from inside the house that has not been made public? I mean, according to Bill Thompson, there is none.
Yeah.
At a party house.
Well.
With hundreds of people there, as seen on body cam. They only found one trace DNA sample.
Well, they found 4.
Not according to him. They were unusable. They were never tested and put in a system.
Well, they were tested because they know they're male.
I hear you, but that's not what came out of Bill Thompson's mouth. So I'm going based off of what was said in court, in front of a camera, that you can find online. Everything else doesn't show anything. So I hear you. We're on the same wavelength. Bill Thompson says there isn't any. I would like to know why Ethan's sibling's vehicle was in the driveway and towed. It was left there.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right? This person says, I want to know if Kaylee had not returned to Moscow, would this crime have occurred?
Oh, that's a real genie wish, because there's no way to know that without a genie.
Nope.
Unless we find out she's the target. That's the only way.
Unless we find out she's the target, or we find out, if Bryan Kohberger is the true perpetrator of this crime or somebody else is, and they come out and talk. But even after somebody that can do a crime of this magnitude, like a serial ender, they can't be believed. Half of everything that comes out of their mouth is fake. You have to verify everything. You can't take anything at face value.
True.
I want to know what exactly the homeless residents around the town think of Moscow PD. That's a really, really, really good question. Because if anyone has a bead on how things are, it's going to be your homeless.
It is homeless people, especially with law enforcement. And that is an incredibly insightful question.
Yeah.
Whoever asked that, kudos to you. That's a deep question. Somebody who has a lot of experience in life. Very insightful question.
It is. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be able to tell you a lot.
They would. They really would.
I would like all applicable video footage of Bryan Kohberger's movements in Pullman and abroad on the night of November 13th. Yes. The video footage from everywhere. I agree with you. That's literally the only thing I'm going to believe.
You said that was a cheater question earlier when I said that's what I would want.
No, you asked for all data.
No, I was talking about the video footage of the car for the most part. That's what I meant. And then I just summed it up with the 51 terabytes at the end of my question.
That 51 terabytes is all their evidence.
Yeah,
that's everything.
I get it. But I was originally talking about the car.
Okay.
I was. I don't know. I guess I dropped the ball trying to say what I was trying to say.
But that is what I got. The one thing, just to recap it here, I think that our community is so intelligent, asking some of these questions that I have never even thought of, some of the angles to get answers that I had never even thought was possible to ask. I'm reading some of these and I'm like, dang, dude, you guys are so good, so on top of it. And I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you, and we're going to keep working towards getting some of these answers. What's interesting to me is the psychology aspects of it, different demographics of where people are from, what our collective life experiences that we've all had in our lives, whether good, bad, or other, help add to the way that we look at any crime, like this crime here, and I think that's why it's so important that we are accepting of everybody, accepting of people that have, completely opposite views from ours, accepting people that have off-the-wall views. Like, everybody's opinion should be heard and is worth something. I don't look at people and think, your opinion is worth more because of this, and this. No, I think everybody's opinion is worth everything. And the quality of comments that we get is just incredible.
It is. It really is.
It is incredible. And I want you guys to keep sending them, keep giving them, because I get a lot of our content ideas from questions. Because then I'm like, I need to know that answer. What can I do to figure it out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So keep them coming, you guys. This whole segment is a shout out to all of you. Phenomenal questions, great insight into the answers that we need for this crime, to understand it and accept things and figure it out. And if anybody's watching Thought Riot Podcast, because we know that you do, that is part of the case, whether you're a local, whether you're in the justice system, if you want to help cater and or give clarity to the rest of society around the public justice system that we have and that you expect the people to support, these are the ways you do it. Work to get some of these answers out so that, our justice system is meant to include the people. That's what it's there for. The people need to feel like they're part of this justice system and they're helping get justice for one of their own. We're all Americans, so anybody that looks at sleuths and tries to put them down, that is such judgmental crap, because sleuths do what they do because they care. It's not some selfish need. Almost everyone we talk to, it's because they're looking for real justice in their America.
Yeah, I mean, the sleuths are looked at like these really annoying little, I can't say a bad word. They're just trying to stir the pot for no reason. Almost like a sewing circle. They're just trying to put,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like nefarious intentions put on people.
Yep.
And I agree with you. People want to feel like they're a part of it. And that's okay. I feel like excluding the true crime community from any case is automatically going to create the situation we have right now in this case. And I think that the police taking the true crime community under their wing, offering information, offering interviews, offering, just dialogue between the community who cares and the police force, investigators, whoever, would actually settle a lot of this down. A lot.
It would also get cases solved quicker.
It absolutely would, because you have people like this.
Police.
You have people like this asking these kinds of questions, and I hope the investigators were asking these questions, but they're just people like me and you are people, and they're not going to think of absolutely everything always. And it could be one random question like that to make something click.
Absolutely. And also, though, when you have your entire society, the majority of the American people on your side and working for you, with you, not against you,
that's only an asset.
They are going to submit this information directly to police, whereas they're not going to when there's no trust.
Yeah, the police want to pick and choose, though, because I saw interviews with them, like Chief Fry saying, it's taken on a life of its own. You put the facts out there and they just take on a life of their own. And talking... I mean,
that's life in general, though. It's so over the top
to
act like this is different.
And talking about how, and then you have these rumors, and then we end up spending our time chasing down all these rumors that go nowhere, and it's like they want to pick and choose is what they want to do. They ask for information, but then when they get information, they complain because it wasn't relevant.
Yeah.
because there was a rumor. But would you rather them not tell you about the rumors at all?
Right.
What if that rumor happened to be true? Because sometimes they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just think it's kind of silly. Like,
Yep.
if you get 50 tips about one rumor, okay, it's one rumor. Like, you don't have to go investigate it 50 times.
Yeah. Agreed. I agree with you. But
I don't know. I'm just saying.
we are curious what you think about it and the continued questions you have. And just keep them coming, you guys, because you guys are incredible. You guys are the real investigators out there, and you guys are Thought Riot Podcast. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. I enjoyed reading all of those a lot.
Yeah,
It was cool.
it was.